Welcome back to the channel, guys. Thanks for clicking on our video. I apologize. It's been a few weeks since I've been able to put out some content. Did a little practicing at a local lake. Had our first tournament of the year. Was able to cash a check in the first one. Didn't expect to, honestly. Practice was not good. Tournament was not good, but the fishing was that tough. But it always is on this body of water. If you're from this area, Indiana, Southern Indiana, Ohio, River Valley region, you know how tough the bass fishing can be. But this one really got me. I'm frustrated. I'm frustrated with a lot of different things with the management of our lakes. Now, I can scream until I'm blue in the face about this. And unfortunately, it takes a village. Until we all band together and figure out a way to approach the state and show them our vested interest in this, and that we're pretty much sick of it, there's probably not going to be anything happen. And even then, probably not going to be anything happen. We're going to do some math today. We're going to get, and I am not a mathematician, but we're going to get down to it. I want to give you guys some numbers and some facts. I've done a lot of research on this. And to be honest with you, after doing the research, it's just plumb pitiful, is what it comes down to. So the lake I'm discussing is Patoka Lake. What I want you guys to do is take the time, watch this video, listen to the facts that I'm going to lay out. You come to your own conclusion on what you think based on your experiences on the body of water, based on the information I'm about to give you, and then you decide what you want to do with it. Me, myself, I am going to draft a letter to the governor of the state of Indiana, which is Mike Braun. Now, in the past, we haven't had much of an avenue there, but Mike Braun is from Jasper. Patoka Lake is in his backyard. So I'm hoping that Mike Braun has the same vested interest that we do, that he loves the lake, loves the area, and wants to see it thrive. Now, I'm going to get down to a couple things real quick before we dive into the numbers. No doubt about it, Patoka Lake bass fishing has been tough. It's been tough for a while. Now, there's a lot of things to attribute to this. Habitat loss, forage populations, just the overall population of the fish in general, just a cycle of these lakes that they go through. Water quality has been good, but the water level fluctuating has a lot of that to, a lot of different things to do with it as well. So I want to take those factors. I kind of want to put a pin in them over here, because I don't want to get too much into the factors, because every lake has their ebbs and flows. What I want to get into is just the sheer numbers of what we're talking about here. Patoka has become a big fish factory. Now, that sounds awesome. And I'm sure some of you are like, dude, okay, yeah, I want to catch big fish. It has become a big bass factory. Now, the unfortunate part is you're just not going to catch the numbers. You can spend a lot of time fishing for that one good quality bite. When you do catch one, it is going to be a good one. And the numbers don't lie to that. The overall average weight in these tournaments that it's taken to win is a very good average weight. Across the board of all the fish that were weighed in this last tournament that we had a week ago, the average weight of the fish, I think, was somewhere 3 to 3.5 pounds per fish. Which is a great average for a lake. Unfortunately, we don't have the age classes of fish there to kind of back that up for the future. So the reason I'm frustrated is we not only, as bass fishermen, probably take up somewhere, I would say, 60 to 70%, based on recent data, of the general population of fishermen that frequent Patoka Lake, i.e. for pleasure, for tournaments, whatnot. So we're taking up better than half of that group of fishermen that are going to Patoka Lake. Bass fishermen will spend money on lodging for these tournaments that bring people in from out of state or from other parts of the state. So we put money into the economy. Through lodging, through food, through fuel, through tackle. We're all tackle junkies. We got to have the next tackle trend. So if we see tackle at even a gas station, we're fiddling through it. Got to have that bait. We will spend the money. Bass fishermen will spend the money when it comes to the sport that they love. Whereas some of your other fishermen, and I'm not knocking the pan fishermen, I'm not knocking the cat fishermen, not at all. It's just there is a limited market there. Bass fishermen take up a larger share of that tackle market because of all the different baits out there, and the disposable income seems to fall more in line with bass fishermen. So let's get that out there. Put more money into the economy. As far as efforts from the state, we don't see any love. We're not seeing any love on any sort of stocking program. In fact, a few years ago, the Indiana Bass Federation, in which I was a member of, had to come up with a way to raise their own money to stock these lakes and got next to no help from the state, other than the state wanted to oversee the project and oversee how we spent our money on bass for that lake, which I say our lake, it's their lake. They make that very clear. That being said, I understand there's a difference when you have the state mixed with the Corps of Engineers. A lot going on there that I don't understand and is above my pay grade. But in this tournament, we had a total of 47 boats, and it's a team tournament. That's 2 anglers per boat. That is 94 anglers fishing for 9 hours. Okay, that is a total of 846 hours. Now I'm going to make this simple. I stole this from my daughter's playroom. So we have 94 fishermen, 846 hours. And you want to know how many bass were weighed in? 52. Now, there again, I'm not a math specialist, but if I take 52 and I divide that into 846 hours, I come up with 16.27 hours that it takes to catch a 15-inch minimum size bass. That is 2 8-hour fishing days. Now, folks, that is sad. That a man, woman, child, all alike can go fish for 2 8-hour days and have an opportunity to catch one 16 or 15-inch bass. That, to me, is just mind-boggling. That the state doesn't see the issue here, that we do not have the population of bass in Patoka Lake to handle the pressure. Now look, some of you are going to say, stop having tournaments, cancel tournaments. We live in a state where there's very few bodies of water large enough to host a tournament. So Patoka is going to get the attention. It's going to get pounded. It's going to happen. Now, me personally, I say no tournaments from April 1st until June 1st and stay away from the spawn. I don't like spawning tournaments. I wish we wouldn't have them at all for that reason, because our lake cannot handle the pressure and we're not getting any help from the state. So here's where you come in. You need to write a letter to Mike Braun or your local representative and demand answers for why the state is not helping this fishery. The Patoka Lake area has economic growth and potential for economic growth, and a lot of small businesses around the lake rely on not just the pleasure boaters. The pleasure boaters are they're come and go. They're going to be here from Memorial Day until Labor Day and a few scattered in between. But the bass fishermen and fishermen in general are going to keep some income flow 365 days a year. Primarily the bass fishermen, because they're die-hard anglers that will go every single weekend and spend the money. So I'm going to throw a few more facts at you real quick. These are a few things that I had looked up. License sales in the state of Indiana averages between $7 and $9 million per year. A portion of this licensing, of course, they do not disclose what portion that is and how much that it is, goes to restocking of our lakes to keep up with the demand to keep a healthy population of fish in the lake. Now let's go to healthy population. In a recent Creel survey, or a recent shocking survey of Patoka Lake a few years back, they electroshocked for 2 hours at night, along with pulling up 4 nets. They pulled them up 4 times, and then they had 4, I forgot what you call them now, but they're a trap net, essentially. And they pulled them up 4 times. In that process, they were able to capture 31 bass at Patoka Lake. 31 bass. 2 hours of electrofishing, should be shooting fish in a barrel, okay? And pulling up nets 4 times of each type of net. So 8 pulls of nets. 31 bass. For the second largest lake in the state that is supposedly touted as one of the best fisheries in the state, that's embarrassing. Embarrassing. A comparable lake, which would be our largest lake in the state, of Lake Monroe, at the same time approximately, for their shock survey and for them pulling their nets as well, they had a total of 65 bass. Still not a great number in my mind. I'm not a fisheries biologist, but that doesn't look great on paper to me. That is more than double what Patoka Lake has. That is more than double. Now, let me throw this barn burner at you. If you fished Patoka Lake lately, last 5 to 6 years, you know that the state of Indiana has continually aggressively stocked, hybrid striped bass in the lake. Now, you can't hardly go anywhere without catching them. Are they fun to catch? Yes. Are they fun to eat? Good to eat? Yes, they are. But it is detrimental to the largemouth bass population, and I believe possibly the smallmouth bass population, for the sheer number of hybrid stripers in the lake. Now, I understand they probably want to try to keep the shad population in control. I think it's working. Problem is, I think it is causing a serious issue with our native species as far as the largemouth bass go, smallmouth bass go. In that same shocking survey, with the same amount of criteria, 2 hours electrofish, 4 net pulls, 4 trap net pulls, there were 1,317 hybrid striped bass pulled from the lake, compared to 31 largemouth bass. 1,317 versus 31. The numbers don't lie, folks. They continue to stock them, and they'll probably stock them again this spring. They keep doing it. They have not stocked largemouth bass in the lake, to my knowledge. Now, I probably need to be fact-checked on this one, since the lake was built. I don't know that they've ever made any major stocking effort for largemouth bass since the lake was built, other than the Bass Federation and private groups doing so. But I don't believe the state has had their hands physically in the expense part of purchasing these fish from the fisheries or from the hatcheries, and then placing those fish into the lake at the state's discretion. Don't believe that's happened. So you need to share this video with your friend, with your buddy. I'm not begging, I'm not doing this because I want more subscribers and more watch hours and all this. I could care less about that. I am livid at where this fishery has went. Now, I'm not mad because I had a bad tournament and I'm boo-hoo. Yes, I had a bad tournament. I have lots of bad tournaments. But you know what? This is where we got to put our foot down for the future of the sport, for the future. I mean, going and fishing at Patoka Lake, I have a son, 12 years old. You all know him here on the channel. Hunter, loves to fish, obsessed with it. You take a kid there and you subdue them to that torture of bass fishing on Patoka Lake for 8 or 9 hours, and it'd make a kid want to just quit and give up. And I wouldn't blame them. I wouldn't blame them. And I just think that's sad. It's such a beautiful lake, has such potential. It grows big fish. It has a wonderful opportunity to be a great proving grounds and learning grounds for some of the younger generations or younger kids and anglers to come. But it is not headed that direction. So I need you to share this video. I need you to take the time to write your senator, your representative, or directly to Mike Braun, which is what I'm going to do, and flood the office with letters, demanding answers, wanting to know what we can do as anglers to help, not completely finance, but to help. Because our license fees, our boat registration fees, our tournament fees that we have to pay for every tournament we have should be directly related to the expense of protecting and preserving the natural resource, which means if the population of bass is low in the lake, it is their obligation and their duty to take care of that, to make sure that it is being well procured for the future generations. And they're failing you, they're failing me, they're failing the future anglers in this country, or in this state, I should say. And it's our tax dollars. And we all need to remember, they work for us. Our tax dollars, our expenses, our excise tax on tackle and different things, that goes to do this. They work for us. Send this to a friend. I greatly appreciate you guys taking the time to watch the video. I'm sorry I ranted for as long as I did, but I am PO'd about where this lake has gone. It is in my backyard. I've kept my mouth shut about it for a long time, other than rambling to my buddies about it. But I just felt now was a good time. Post a video, get it out there. If only 3 of you see it, oh well. But I hope 3,000 of you see it and do something about it. You all have a good one.